Mafia, are you ready?
He said, are you ready?
This is Brotherly Love Wrestling Podcast, your first stop for everything professional wrestling. So sit back and enjoy wrestling talk at its finest with your hosts, Larry Hall and Joe Corrado.
The main event.
So that's why he does that. Other than me, he's way better at it than I am.
I liked it.
It was impressive.
Thank you. Welcome to the show, guys.
No, thanks for having us, guys.
Thank you for taking the time out. Just getting finished training the true workers in American pro wrestling, right from training to doing a podcast. And I must say, that background you guys are behind is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you, man.
Thank you. We are live from the NYC Arena.
Yes, sir. Home
in New York City, home of House of
Glory Wrestling.
Nice.
Oh, nice. There we go. Now, we'll get into it real quick. AEW. We'll start with AEW and not so much the experience that you've had there. Now, wrestling in AEW. Now, where would you since they've come about? I'd say there's been a resurgence in tag team wrestling. When there was just WWE, it seemed like tag team wrestling was kind of falling by the wayside, like all over the place. More independents were only booking singles competitors and whatnot. And then AEW starts to come around. They start to acquire all these like phenomenal tag teams that all differ from each other in a lot of different ways. So working there and wrestling there, where do you think that you stack up amongst the competition in AEW?
AEW has so much talent. That tag team roster is stacked. There's no arguing that. And I think for us to compare ourselves to anyone on that roster would be a little bit ridiculous at this moment, just because, we have so much work to do.
Mm-hmm.
We've been tagging for about
3 years.
3 years
We've been
now.
tagging for 3 years, yep.
And, we're still a very young team. We know this. We know that we have a lot to prove. So, I'm not saying that we can't hang with them.
Yeah, we could definitely hang with them, but I wouldn't rank myself
above anyone on that roster.
Yeah.
I wouldn't rank myself above anyone on that roster just because they've all done more than us. They've all done more.
With that, and now I'll kind of turn it a little bit. I think the one thing about you guys as a tag team is, aside from the in-ring, which you guys are phenomenal, and you seem to have insane chemistry in there.
Thank you.
The character work that you guys do, and your gimmicks in general of the Ringleader and the Lion, it's one of those things you don't see very often. It's very unique, especially in pro wrestling. And I think when it stacks up to other tag teams, whether it be AEW or any other independent company as well, you guys stand out. And I think that's one of the good things about you guys is that there's not many like you. So when someone sees you,
There's not any.
yeah, there's nothing like you. When someone sees you, you kind of stick in their mind immediately because you're hard to forget.
For sure.
And that's a blessing.
We definitely appreciate those words. Thank you for, the in-ring compliment. But it's true. We know that we have something that when you look at it, it's like, this is different. It's probably never been done before, actually. And we know there's enticing things when you look at us. People think that sometimes when they look at us, they're like, oh, look at these losers.
Yeah, for better or for worse. Yep,
it's either good or bad. But we know that they're thinking something, and we need to catch them now.
Mm-hmm.
And whether you're with us from the get-go, we're going to let you know, good choice. You made a good choice riding with us because we're going to do you guys right. And if you don't believe in us, then we have to show you why you should believe in us.
Yep.
Even if it's not that match or the next match, at some point, even if you don't like us, you're going to have to say, you know what? These guys put in the work and they work hard.
All right, I'm going to piggyback off of what Larry just asked. Now, if you were to rank it in importance, now what would you say would be more important, like what you do in the ring or outside of the ring, like your character, your persona, your gimmick, for lack of a better term? I mean, where would you put them?
I would put them both in the same place.
Yeah.
It goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
You can't have one without the other. You need to be the total package. I feel like you, and cut me off anytime because
No,
I love to talk.
Go ahead. We switch. Sometimes I'm going to talk more. Sometimes he's going to talk, which is really funny.
But most of the time, almost all the time, actually, we're thinking the same thing.
It hits the same. Mm-hmm.
But I feel like you can't have one without the other. You can, but like
it won't hit as hard.
Won't hit as hard.
Mm-mm.
When you have someone that has character and in ring, it's just like, wow, they could do everything. And we're not even saying like we've reached our peak or we know but we know we're doing something right. And what's keeping us afloat right now is the character, but also the wrestling. Because if we were just characters that couldn't wrestle, I think it would be a bit harder.
We'd be a comedy act.
And, everyone thinks we're a comedy act until they see us wrestle. And it's like, whoa, these guys could do both. And that's what we just want to show. Like, you can have fun, but there's levels to this.
Notch.
There's a notch. And we have that level 1 and we have that level 9. And we could go through all the dials if we need to.
Normally, I would disagree with that. And I would say, and I'm saying normally, I would say that a move could be easily forgettable, but a character could live forever.
We agree with that
100%.
too. Yeah, 100%.
Normally, I would think that, but like Larry said earlier, the chemistry that you have and the moves that you're able to pull off, they do feel different. So they're not as forgettable as you would think. Now, how much work and how much time do you guys put into actually coming up with something new? Because today in wrestling, I feel like we've seen like everything. Like I think to myself, like, what else can we possibly see? So what is your mindset? What is your mentality going into like when you're putting together like your unique offense?
I think it's funny because I get bored so easily, and I'm the victim of that. I'm kind of like,
same.
And remember, we're gonna wrestle maybe the same kind of match with the same kind of moveset, like a lot more times than a person would see it. So like our whole thing is we get bored. Let's tweak a little thing or put it here, or put it there, or create something completely new and different because we're sometimes we're satisfying ourselves as fans, and it may be a little selfish, but it's with the greater purpose that somebody else, like the fans, are gonna enjoy it. You get what I mean?
Once we start to feel bored, it's like if we feel bored, maybe they're getting bored soon. And our boredom is really like it only takes 2 weeks for us to get bored, and that's not a long time in wrestling. But like we just always want to stay fresh. We always want to stay different. You will see everyone do the same moves all the time.
And it's not just with the moves either. It's with our look. Like we have ideas for our next sets of gear. Trust me, like we have 3 sets of gear. We even have one for when we get picked up by a major company, like an entrance or this or that. We're always trying to keep the juices flowing and writing stuff in our notebooks and we're always just trying to be different and fresh because we don't want to be the same as everything else because it's not, shitting on anybody in the indies, but a lot of the indies, I'm sorry.
You're good.
Yep,
but a lot of, no, I generally don't curse. You're talking like a lot of the
passionate. I understand.
Yeah. A lot of what you see in the indies is a lot, and this is lower indies probably, but it's the same. But like the cream always rises. That's why you see the Jordan Olivers, the AJ Grays, the Effies. That's why you see all those people thrive. You know what I mean? Because there's something different about them. So we want to be those guys sooner rather than later. That like we want people to see why we're different. We want tag team wrestling to be booked everywhere. And that's really our main mission, like, is to be undeniable on every single cylinder.
That's just what it comes down to. Wrestling is just full of people that, it's a lot of hate, a lot of people trying to keep people back. And I'm not saying that we've been through this at all, but, no one, it does exist. And at the end of the day, in a world that exists like that, the only way to beat it is to become undeniable. That's the only way to do it.
And then you get to be different and have fun doing it. You know what I mean? I think The Rock said it, once you have a pulse on your audience, like once you have that pulse and you know the pulse, like you're undeniable, because it's about the people at the end of the day. You know, so it's a combination of all of those things plus everything we said earlier. You know,
I want to go back two things. Let's see if I can remember one at a time. Now, I want to go back to what you said about the AJ Grays, Jordan Olivers, about how they're becoming undeniable. They're also getting like a lot of really, really good opportunities at a lot of different opponents, like different styles. Like you're not going to see them wrestle like one style. They're 1 week they'll be wrestling like a ECW legend, and then the next week they'll be wrestling like the top technical wrestler in all of independent wrestling. Now, opportunities. Go ahead.
They have range. There's range.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, it's not your typical match. Like, it's like, what am I going to get this time from them?
Now, is that something that you're aspiring to? Is that something that you feel like you're ready for, to step up to any different tag team on the planet?
Absolutely, 100%, 100%. We feel like we could deliver literally anything that's thrown at us. Like, we're coachable, we're adaptable, and that's what you have to be in this business. Even if I was to go out there and not, it might not be 100% hit. I took something away from it. Like, we're gonna learn from it, but we definitely feel like we're just at that place where it's like, you know, we're ready to do what we need to do.
So,
like, that, but it's like, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. It's fine. We're just a transportation device for you.
No,
so
we just so passionate.
Listen,
sometimes.
I love it. That's great.
Hey man, that's what makes the show.
Yeah,
it's the things we believe in. Like, we've been saying forever, and we try not to sound like broken records, but like, we love tag team wrestling so much. We do feel like we're at a level where like our confidence is there and we're delivering. And you know, now, before it was like, oh, you know, we're the greatest show in professional wrestling. No. Now we live this and we believe this, and it's not a knock to anyone else. It's not a knock to anyone else, but shouldn't we feel like we're the best? Everyone should feel like the best.
Would you believe us, you know, if we didn't act and feel as if we were the greatest show in professional wrestling? No, it's not just a mind.
Like,
you're the
reason
big
why
top. You're supposed to be the greatest show on earth.
The reason why we started winning people over, on top of like just trying to stay innovative in the character, it was the confidence that came with us. We didn't have the confidence before. Before it was like going through the motions. Now there's confidence. We do believe that we are one of the best tag teams out there that are not signed. We do believe that, you know, we still have a lot of work to do and prove, but we know that we haven't even hit our peak.
Yeah, and we have the tools where we haven't been put in certain scenarios, but once we get put in those scenarios, we're ready. And like, you know, like we say a lot of what our trainer tells us, but Amazing Red tells us, you know, don't just, you know, stay ready. You don't have
to get ready if you stay ready.
Yep.
And that's just is like, we were given the tools. It's never out of big-headedness or cockiness. It's just straight confidence, and like, this is what you have to believe. And as long as you also remember, this could be taken away from you at any time and point, and you just remember, like, just because I act like I'm good and I know it doesn't mean to be a bad person about it. We try to stay as humble as we can, but we've also learned that there's a medium, and you can be humble, but at some point you have to own your talents.
Yeah, there was an old saying we used to say in college. It was confident, not cocky.
Right.
So, I mean, with that confidence comes probably from like three places: the fans, and you gain confidence when you start getting recognition from the fans. Your coaches, people that coach you, start to notice different things, and you guys are really starting to click. And then there's your peers, and you guys have been getting a lot of recognition from your peers about how good you guys have been performing. And now, how does that feel coming from people that you work with?
You could go first.
Yeah, first off, it's humbling because, like, we don't expect anybody. Like, obviously, we expect everybody to watch us, but we don't. That's such an oxymoron.
I know what you mean.
Like,
if you love wrestling, you're gonna watch.
But we don't expect.
But we don't expect
really,
them to really watch.
Yeah.
And when there's workers that come up to us and they're like, "You guys are really good," and sometimes I'm just like, Yeah. Like they're probably just saying that,
or heard a pop.
I can really feel it. And after it's said, after point, like after a point, you just have to believe it.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes from the workers, it means something when it comes from anyone, but it all is different levels. When it comes from the workers, it's like we always want, all wrestlers want to do, for the most part, it's not everyone, but for the most part, you want to at least be accepted in the business that you're in. So when the workers and our peers are like, you know, you guys are really good, it's like, wow, acceptance in wrestling. When it comes from the fans, it's like, that's what matters a lot too, because they're the ones that we do this for. So
customer.
Mm-hmm.
So exactly. So like I listen to everyone and it all means something crazy. It all means the same to me. Like it means everything to us.
Just in different ways.
If that makes sense. Like it's the same, but it's different at the same time.
And I think that's what really fuels your passion and it gets the brain cells going. So now you have all these eyes that have been on you at different aspects. And congratulations, by the way, just winning tag team gold against the Sea Stars. I mean, that's another confidence boost in itself. Now the brain starts to work, and you're like, all right, you can't sit still. You can't become complacent. Not at this point in wrestling, because there is so many different people that are just, they're waiting. They're just there in the shadows waiting to take your spot.
Yeah. They're waiting for any little reason to be like, oh, there they go. They're falling off. They're messing up. There they go. And that's the thing. Like, we know that. We know this. Like, and it's sometimes the people that you think are there in your corner and they're not. They're just like flies on the wall waiting. And then they swoop in, then fly on your food real quick.
but I'm always hungry, baby, and I always want to eat. So we're not stop. There's not a lot that could stop us. You know what I mean?
But you guys mentioned the Battle Club tag champs, and that was really a special moment for us, and no one could take that away from us.
We were home.
Like, we were home in Brooklyn. We worked extremely hard just to show, like, hey, we love tag team wrestling so much. And to be able to do it with those two girls who are just awesome in every way, in ring, out the ring, they're just two amazing people.
They level up every time I see them. Like, as wrestlers.
They're like the bar. They're like the standard when it comes to tag team wrestling.
So to be able
in the Northeast.
So to put on these 3 matches, one at Battle Club, one at Limitless, and then the third match at Battle Club again, and not only deliver and level up each match and tell the story that we told, but to be able to do that for intergender wrestling, you don't get matches like that in intergender wrestling like that.
And this isn't your hardcore. Like, we weren't treating it like, because we see how like people treat intergender wrestling, and it was a big hardcore thing. No, we just want to show equality. Like, you guys could go, we could go. Like, let's just have an equal playing field of competition, regardless of gender, race, sexuality. That's really what we were trying to show with that.
And I feel like, I hope that it lived up to, but it felt like we accomplished that. Like, and then just those titles, like we want to elevate them. We want to show everyone, like, those titles are just basically saying, you know what, guys, you guys are right. You guys believe in what you guys are. You guys believe in what you guys stand for. And I do too. And we're going to show everyone why we are now Battle Club Tag Team Champions.
Yeah, you know what? The one thing about Battle Club that we know personally, because of having multiple conversations with Joe, is he really knows how to put on a great card and stack that up. And
he takes pride.
Yeah, and not only that, we wish that Battle Club would get a bigger name because of the sheer action that is on each and every card that he puts together that we see promoted, and we wish that promotion itself would be able to grow and get bigger, because it's such a great promotion.
We're just trying to get them to come to Philly, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. We want to come local so we don't have to take the drive. But yeah, I mean, it is such a great promotion. He puts on such a great show every single time, and the talent that he has on the shows is second to none.
Second to none. Diverse.
Yeah, let me tell you something, though. Joe has big dreams too, and you never know. He might be in Philly one day, because we talk about our dreams, and That's one dream, one specific spot that I could say is a dream of his and mine and Midas's. So who knows? We're wishing and putting that out to the air, but you never know if we're ever gonna be in that special building one day. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And exactly what building we're talking about.
We know exactly
Absolutely.
what building you're talking about.
Exactly. So hopefully let's put that into the air and hope that can happen one day. And no, we're not talking for Battle Club. Like, this is some
We're just
official
talking.
statement. This is wishful thinking.
This is wishful thinking.
Hey, man, sometimes you got to put it out there.
Yep.
If you speak it, it could come true.
Mm-hmm.
So, I had another one, and I think I lost it through all of our talk because I had another question, but I don't remember what it was. Larry, if you...
Hey, by the way, that ring isn't so loud behind us, is it?
It's not that bad.
I think this gives us like a different kind of feel for this show.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
On location.
This is like a live action type show where anything could happen. We're just waiting for the steel chair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm waiting for someone to come over here like, hey guys, get off the phone. I'm like, hey.
Right, exactly.
We'll fully take Amazing Red coming into the show. We have no problem with that whatsoever. But the one thing we wanted to tell you guys as well is we were at the most recent Camp Leapfrog show. Again, not to surprise us, but you guys absolutely killed it. The whole show was amazing. Camp Leapfrog always puts on such great events, and of course,
I got a question for him.
Go ahead. Now that you've remembered something,
No, it's something different. Now that you brought up Leapfrog. What's with Crumbles and Defarge? Now they're the real main event. What are you guys going to do about them? Like, I got to know now. Now I got to know what's going to go on.
Listen, man. Here's the thing. Crumbles and Defarge, I already told them on Twitter, like, they can carry that with them all they want. Like, if you want to be us, just say it. If you want to be us, just say it. And if this is what helps you sleep at night, that you have to be the true main event, then so be it. Because clearly Crumbles and Defarge, and that name didn't help out, that you need our name. So it's fine.
Lightning struck one time, but can it strike twice?
That's just all it is,
on
man.
Our next 2-on-2 encounter, because we already won that last Leapfrog, right? That was a fatal that they're involved in, right? Hit him with the quick Jerry Lynn schoolboy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And picked up that 1-3.
But Crumbles and Defarge,
they'll get theirs.
They'll get theirs. They get theirs. And if it's not from us, it'll be the other main event. It's cool. Like, they got two main events to deal with.
It's amazing that there's two main events and they're completely different.
Yes.
Completely different.
Well, that's just a testament to wrestling and creativity in itself that, yeah, we got the same name, but if you're looking us up, you're like, oh my God.
It's literally just the classic case of a classic coincidence. Two teams randomly same time came up, and they were called another name before they changed their name to main event, and we just came out the woodworks like, hey, we're gonna be main event, and it just kind of happened at the same time. And then over time it was like, hey, there's two of us, and we already knew about each other from the get-go, and it was always mutual respect. But people really were out here thinking like
set tripping, like we're stealing stuff.
They were main event first, or they were main event first, or they're a rip.
You're both on the come up right now, so I'm surprised, honestly, that there hasn't been an idea yet to have a name for name, like maybe a best of 7 series through a couple different promotions of who gets to keep the name.
None of us will put that up.
Yeah,
I don't blame you.
We've laughed about it, and we put so much work into
building
our own brand
that it would just have to be like, if that happens, we'll let it naturally happen.
Yeah, it's not gonna be.
We'll let it naturally happen.
And also that's also allowing promoters to put our futures and our names in their hands. No, that
because
can't
then
happen,
a promoter could say, "Oh, you know what? We like this main event better than this main event, so we're guys win and have you guys lose," and it wouldn't be fair to either person.
Nope.
True.
And
that's a very good point.
Setting that precedent of like. Because what happens when we do that and we go outside and we try to call ourselves the main event somewhere else?
Yep.
Yeah.
Someone is gonna be like, "Oh, but over here you're this."
Yeah. And we put too too much blood, sweat, tears, and most importantly, money into our own brands for someone to tell us, a carny promoter to tell us to change our name for the betterment of their company. Nah.
So we'll
I'm good on that.
we'll just let it happen naturally, and whatever happens. We both teams have in their head at some point we might have to change our name, but when we get there, we'll get there.
We'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
All right. Lo and behold, I have remembered the other question I was going to ask you a while back, and you had touched on how much work you guys put into your look and your entrance and all of that, and being in the indies right now, and kind of being on it's a entrance on a budget, but I feel like your guys' entrance deserves like that production value that big companies can give you, because you guys have that different act where you can get so creative with what you're going to do with what your gimmick is for an entrance. Now, you guys have had to have been thinking about cool shit that you could do if ever given the opportunity.
You have no idea. For sure. The shit that we've came up with. Sorry to curse again. Passion.
I call Philadelphia fans will always call cursing passion.
Yes.
I'm actually the person.
He's the one that curses, but I'm just I'm fired up. Yeah, we have so much thought into it. We've had WrestleMania idea entrances. We've had what we would do on a day-to-day. Trust me, the day that we get picked up, we're gonna make anybody who's ever followed us, just their time and money that they put into us, it's gonna be worth it.
It's just the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do.
I'm thinking so much pyro and some sort of acrobatic type thing.
I'm so much things that we've thought. It doesn't matter if it's pyro or screen effects, something
you guys just come out on a freaking elephant, the freaking circus. Some lions. You need some big game animals. Lions, bears.
Cosplaying stuff. You trust us. We have cartoon imaginations. So and that's why we're such best friends, because we just always have been on par with there's no limit for our brains and our creativity. Thank God.
Well, guys, we wanted to thank you for coming on, especially after training or during training, depending on when it is.
Thank you. Thank you.
So thank you once again. Again, thank you for all the entertainment. We love watching you guys in the ring. We hope to see you again in person very soon. And we hope you guys have a great night. And thanks.
Man, you guys too. We'll definitely keep training and just, keep watching.
Always.
Keep watching.
Absolutely.
We got some stuff in store for everyone.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Keep their eyes open.